in all reality, it's going to be one of the biggest webinars that we're going to be able to put out everywhere, because it's going to be that marking in time when the concept, the idea, the ideology of the entire process, the mantra of everything that we do is just about, the song says, it's about money. Okay? Let's be real. Let's be adult. We're here to make money. I love the people that come on board and that really share our dream and share our inspirations. But if you're not making money, if you're not focused on the money, then you will fail. Okay? Let's be serious. We're having an adult conversation that, yes, theoretically, do you want it to be about the money? Do you want to live your life? You want to be about your family and your friends and everything else? Yes, absolutely. But unless you live in some sort of commune in the middle of the desert somewhere, it is definitely about some sort of currency with you at one time or another. So let's talk about the money. What are we going to talk about today? Today, the biggest news ever. I know I'm pushing this whole thing about the biggest news, but it is. It's not just about the news of this company. It's about the news that's going to turn your life into something completely different. And you know me, I love ordering that's entertainment value, loving the whole process, but I'm very transparent and I get very excited about this process and about this company and what we do, because I know that when we are on that line of success, there's nothing that can stop us. And the harder the industry pushes back against us, the harder that companies come after us, the harder the hackers and the detractors and all these people out there that say, no, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it, you'll fail. Screw you. We're not going to fail. Because at every single step that I take, I plant a foundation under me. And when I do it for every single person that's in that chat room, that's in the website, that's on the company, that comes to the website, that I meet, that I talk to, that I deal with in the chat rooms. Every single person I'm looking for security for. So, you want to talk about the biggest news ever? It's here right now. Let's jump on board. The biggest news ever. We pride ourselves for ever learning and ever building. And this doesn't mean that we're changing our entire concept, because our concept, as I said in the beginning, is about the money. Now, in the idea of what it is about the money, is it about the money for me to make money from you so I can be rich? No. This is not an MLM. This is not some sort of affiliate program that, you need to spend a whole bunch of money with me and go through the 7 tiers of Orion or whatever to get to the top level, and then we can all be on a boat and somewhere in Costa Rica somewhere. Sorry, Mr. Wood and Dave, the Daves, I just can't do it. Sorry, MLMs, that whole pyramid process, everybody works the money up top. We tried going down that road and it makes me sick to my stomach. I can't sleep. I got to earn my money. I got to find it. I got to hunt for it. We pride ourselves on truly listening to you. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people come through. We have 450 members. Free members outweigh everybody else, of course, because people are always testing it out. They're always trying to figure shit out. That's the way it goes, right? Maybe you're a free member. You're here today. Maybe you are a free member. Maybe you're not. Maybe you've been paying in. You've been here the entire time and you're helping us figure shit out. That's perfect. For all you free members, the day of the chicken on the stick at the mall and trying to eat a dinner off of that is done. You should be using all that information you get from that not as a free source, but as a idea that this thing works. And we listen to you. When people came to us in the very beginning, in March, way back in March, and back even in November, and were telling us, you need to get a better training program. You need better customer service. You need a better algorithm. You need to have a clear way to deliver the signals. You need to have a clear way to be able to talk to people. We built the customer service. Now, who says that we got the best customer service in the world with Amy and Brian Farrow in there? Holy hell. Who says we don't have some of the best training that's in there, very short and sweet and to the point, and I'm kind of biased because that's the way I like it. I like it being short and sweet and to the point. You can't sit and listen to somebody who has a speech impediment talk for 45 minutes to an hour and a half with no excitement in their voice. I feel like I'm sitting in Ferris Bueller's school waiting to be called for roll call. Can't do it. And because we listen, it shows that we care. And we care because we want you to be successful, because with your success comes our success. And yes, if you're successful, you're not going to have a problem paying your 147 or your 87 or your 73.50 or whatever you're here for. We know that. But again, the money for your fees is only one tiny little minuscule part of this whole concept that we built. And because you are paying, you're helping us develop the things that we're showing you right now. Because if you didn't, we wouldn't be here. I'd be sitting in a tiny little room trading all day long just for myself and would have never moved forward. So our thanks is to keep our prices low, to keep our efforts moving forward at all time. And by the way, we truly are good at what we do. And the reason why we became good at what we do is because we practice, we train, we worked hard, we figured stuff out, we know shit happens, we push through it, we work with it, we do whatever we can do to make that happen. And if you can't take solace in that, then I'm sorry. What's next? The hard part. This is the hard part. This is the tough part of the industry, that you have to know that the odds are against you. Not like odds like gambling odds, right? You walk into a casino, unless you're some sort of Rain Man, got to get it kind of thing, you're really not going to walk out with a lot of money. I mean, unless you're really, really super good at what you do. And that takes training and time and all that stuff, right? The odds are set against you as soon as you step foot. You know, all the little adages of they pump oxygen or they give you free drinks to get you drunk, or screw you and your risk disclaimer. I haven't talked about money yet. Hang on one second. Yeah, okay, Amy, I'll get you. All right. Let me open up another one here. Let's pull up the forecast from the other day, and let me get over to that. There it is. How's that? All right. Before we get into talking about money, on all you new people and everybody else, this is the big thing with me. Okay, trading in financial instruments, there's a high level of risk in your capital with the possibility of losing more than you initially invest. Trading in financial instruments may not be suitable for all investors and is only intended for people over 18. Please ensure that you are fully aware of these risks involved, and if necessary, seek independent financial advice. The past or recent trading performance of any stock, security, commodity, or derivative is not necessarily indicative of future profits or loss. We do not and cannot guarantee the use of the service will generate you profits. We do not and cannot take responsibility for any losses to your accounts. You must trade and take sole responsibility to evaluate all information provided by this website and is used for your own risk. All trading information will be provided as intended as trade assistance only. And all results may vary. How's that? Okay, now let's get back to it. Come on. There you go. Yay. So much coffee. And speaking of which, so we know that the odds are set against us. Now, again, not like gambling odds, but they're still set against us. Why? Because we're human. It sucks, right? We know that the odds are set against us because we're human. Some of us, we're greedy. Some of us, careless. Some of us, we like to gamble a little with the money. Some of us don't pay attention. Some of us don't train hard enough. Some of us don't have the time. And then there's always the part, shit happens. Nothing's perfect. What went wrong? Absolutely nothing. It just lost. Gotcha. That's the way life is. But in our idea, before I even get to this part of it, in our idea of a regular trade process, okay, Mike, I'm drawing a big square with 2 dots on it and some squiggly lines. In our regular trading process, here's the box, okay? Here's some dots. Here's some squiggly lines. So I'm true to what I said. But the idea of what this represents is that everything is 50-50. Believe it or not, an up or buy, sell or buy, left or right, everything is 50-50. But the idea is how close to one side or the other can you get to? The closer you are to the middle, the more zen you are, if you will. The idea of our company on the 80-20 process is that we don't take a profit less than $20, right? So we don't take a sell for less than 20 or a buy for less than 80. Okay, this is the 2080. Maybe some of you heard of it. And this is a perfect rendition of what Nadex offers, okay, as an idea solution of the process. And this is called in the money trading, ITM. Why? Because when you get to the site and it's at $20, that's already pretty far into the money, right? And most people really like this form of trading because why? Because the idea is it feels safer, right? If I take a sell and I take a profit of $20, what am I risking? $80. Holy El Crapo. Now, if you're brand new to trading and this is all you know, you've probably gotten used to it. You probably had your eyes focused on this process the entire time. Why? Because I want to take a chance. Now, guess what, folks? Guess what? This is a success rate, right? If you're constantly taking $20 bets, $20 trades, contract profit margins, when you take it for $20, you have an 80% chance of winning. If you were to just go to the website and take, and I'm a signals company, and I'm not telling you to go do this because I want to get rid of you, but I'm telling you that if you see this, once you see it, you're going to understand how screwed up life can be if you're not careful. If you go to the website right now and you find any pair, doesn't matter what it is, any pair that has a $20 profit on the sell, and you take that, what's your percentage of winning? 80%. If you take a $25 one, your percentage of winning is 75%. Why? Because they use a $100 marker. It's a $100 amount. That's why equals always $100. And if you think about it, look at that. Percentage. Dollar. Got it? Understanding this magic puts you into an idea that, holy crap, I'm taking an 80% chance of losing my $20. Now, this is without any indication, without any experience, without any training, without anything else. You're just sitting in this mentality. Now, because you have an 80% chance of winning, still means that you have 20% chance of losing. But if you lose, how much are you losing? Well, holy crap, when you lose, you're losing 80% of your $100. And that's not good. Why? Because when I lose once, I have to make 4 other trades to make it up. Right? Now, in risk to reward value understanding, okay, risk to reward, you have to understand that this is a 4 to 1. Did I do that right? Yes. This is a 4 to 1 ratio. I'm risking 4 to win 1. Holy crap. So if I lose once, I have to win 4 times to make my $20 back. Or my $80 back, I'm sorry, my $80 back. Right? Now, to some of you, because I say it's an 80% opportunity if you just go there with no training, we provide the signals to help kind of alleviate that process to know that it's definitely going to go that way. So we're going to be hovering really hard into this 80% because our signals are 94.5% average on the entire company put together, even with my signals. Okay, so we know that we're going to be in here, and you're not taking every single trade that we put out, every single signal we take out. Okay, so we still will put out these 2080 trades. Now, that's ITM. There's another format called ATM, right? And what is this? This is at the money. I'm sorry I don't have a lot of graphics on this. I was running out of time and I couldn't get all the graphics, so I'm going to third grade draw it right here, and I apologize. If you're watching this after the fact, then you're going to get probably really tired of my third grade drawing. But the idea of ATM is at the money, right? And this one's like more of a 40-60 rule, right? about 40-60. It's never 50-50 right at the money because you're always just over at the money, right? So you have, if it's a sell, it's in the money down here, it's at the money right about there, and out of the money is somewhere out here. Okay. At the money is the only one that's usually, it's still considered in the money, but it's usually right at that strike price, pretty damn close to it. It's closer to it than the other one. Okay. And at the monies have a 40-60 rule. Right? You can lose 50% of the time, lose 40% of the time. Okay, but you have a 60% chance of winning. And this is not very great either. Do you understand? This is not very great because it's still, it's very close to 50-50 win-lose at that point. Sometimes you can get them from about $44 to $56, but you have to understand that. You have to understand that trading at this level, if you just go to the website and find anything between 40 on a sell and 60 on the buy, these are your chances. Now, if you lose one, right? If you lose one, you're going to lose $60. So you still need to do 2 to make up for it. So it's really like a 1.7, I think it is, right? Is that what it is? 1.5. Okay. So this is a 1.5 to 1, right? I'm risking 1.5 to make 1 out of my $100. So it's really, this one's still kind of tough. It's on the other side. You don't get as many wins as you do losses. And you only need a success rate of ATMs when people can call an ATM. You need a very low success rate to be on top of it, right? A medium one, I guess. You need a high success rate here on ITMs. You need a low, medium size. We're going to call this the Goldilocks process, right, at ATM. And for the next one, what do you think it is? Out of the money. And before that scares the hell out of you, let's have a look at it. Out of the money, right? An OTM. Okay. Now this is where it gets kind of crazy. If you notice this, watch this, right? An OTM is really right around the opposite of the ATM. Ooh, 80% chance of losing, 20% chance of winning. But I want you to see this. Let's work the numbers out, right? On an OTM, between 80 and sometimes, okay, sometimes these are right around $88 to $94. But we're going to do this one here at just this label, 80-20 reverse, right? 20-80 reverse. But watch this, right? If I win $80. If I lose 20. So that means, right, this is a 1 to 4 ratio. It means I risk 1 to make 4. Now, with this risking 1 to make 4, I need a very low rate of success to make a ton of money, right? And so far, if I were to trade most of the hunts that I find out for these OTMs, which I've been doing now for some time, and today was the first time that I broadcasted it inside the Pro Trade or inside the Max Signals Trader Room, I wanted you to be able to see these numbers. So if I lose 1, how many does it take for me to get my money back? Just 1 trade. But if I win that next one, then I'm making that 3+. So I can lose 4 in a row before I lose the same amount that I would use in one of these. 2 times the amount in one of this. Okay. So any questions on the ITM, OTM, ATM trading ratio? Any questions? I'm going to stop. I'm going to pause right here. You guys that are watching this after the fact, put your hand up. But but anybody here in the chat room, we have about 19 people in the chat room. Anybody in the chat room have any questions about this part of the process? Does this make sense to you? Did you understand what risk reward value is? I think most people do. Good analogy. Where says an ITM money trade is more like a putter. It moves your ball into the account balance a short distance. An OTM is like a driver. When it hit properly, right? When it's not hit properly, you're yelling, you're yelling for and get out of the way. You're hooking or slicing, right? I get it. So let's move on. Out of the money, right? We're going to call this OTM trades, and we got a nice little catchy name for it. Max Premium OTM Hunter. But before we begin me telling you what this is, let me tell you what it's not. It's not an indicator. Even though I use indicators to figure it all out, I'm not going to put it in some little easy little pocket calculator for you to figure this shit out. It's not about expiry. It's about the scalp. It's about getting to a certain money and getting out because you only have one shot for it. Okay? It's not about 100% success. Remember, you can lose 4 before you are to even break even by winning 1. Okay, if you win 1, you can lose 4 more from that point. And so you're going to be maybe buying more contracts or you're going to be getting into more trades, but it's not about winning every single one. I might give you one that is a sell here and a buy here. We know you're going to lose this one. We know this one is going to, one of them is going to lose, okay, unless there's a swing, right? And I'll explain that here in just a minute in a little graphic draw. Okay. But even if we know one's going to lose, you might win the other one. I might give you one here for a sell and one here for a sell. The price is up here. It hits this one for maximum premium reward. You scalp it, and then maybe it could hit that one or bounce off. So this one could be a loss, or it might get into premium, or when I call scalp out, because I know it's going to bounce, and that's as far as premium you're going to get, you might scalp out for maybe a small loss on this one instead of a full loss. But again, even a small loss might be only $6, $7. To win 80? Yeah. Yeah. Right? Now, the idea of this, the whole concept of this, is very difficult to wrap your head around. So it's not for everyone. And if it's not for you, that's completely okay. Okay, but before you decide that something you want to do, you have to understand it takes a lot of time and effort on my part to do this. Now, before you speculate where I'm going with this, trust me, you don't know where I'm going with this. I'm not going to charge anybody for this. This is all going to be part of the Max Signals network. I'm not going to add any money to this process because it has to work. It has to work for the following reason. Let me show you. We know what it's not. Let me tell you what it is. We already know it's a low risk 1 to 4, right? In some cases, it's 1.75 like I did this morning. And in one of the cases this morning, it was a 1 to 15 win. You understand what this means? I sure hope so. With the explanation I just gave you earlier, this should mean that this would lighten your eyes up and make you all glossy-eyed and you found it. But let me give you an example. This is a live example, by the way. This is something that happened this morning that was in the room. Some of you were there. Some of you seen it. You've seen it unfold. Okay. USD CHF was sitting right around 98.94 on the indicative on Nadex. I decided to implement the OTM Trade Hunter process and pulled a price on the 99.80 strike for $88, which means I spent $12 for it. Okay, let's put that up here. I spent $12 on this trade here, right? 12 bucks. Now, as it is sitting up here, that strike is all the way down here. Okay, so here's where the price is at, and it kind of comes up to this point, and I say, okay, if it breaks down below, because this is one of those lines. We call it an SR line, right? A support or resistance line. Let me redo this here just a little bit. Yeah, that was better. Okay, yeah, that was really good. So it came up to this support line, just broke over, and I knew that immediately that if it came through, that it was time to call this, because it's going to try to run to this other support line, which was right around here. Okay, now it wasn't on the 99.80, and that's okay. But if it starts to move south from this point, and it closes over this line, even at pushing to this point at $88, even if it got to here, it would probably put $20 or $30 into the premium. So the cost of it would be about 68 bucks. So 20 bucks. But if it pushed halfway to or even close to it, I knew that it was going to bump 50% profit margin, which would have been about 44 bucks. So I would win $44 for a $12 investment. Okay. That's where these numbers will get a little bit different, about 50%. So this might be a 1 and 2, or I mean, sorry, this one would be more of a 1 to 2 ratio instead of a 1 to 4 ratio, because we're going to take 50%. This is that this OTM expires in the money. This is what you could win. Okay. But if it even gets close, you're now talking 1 to 2 ratio, which, trust me, is still very, very good in this industry. Probably better than most I've ever seen. Most people are happy with the opposite. Most people are happy with a 1 to 1. I risk 12 to make 12. Right? And that's what you're going to want to do when you set your take profit and do all that stuff. You're going to want to get to a 1 to 2 ratio evenly. So if I risk 12 bucks, I set a take profit for $24 profit. And I win. Now, in this case, it went to 44 bucks. It went to 50%. Killed it. Scalped it off. During the time that all this was unfolding, just so you know as well, because you remember that 1 to 115, was that there was a 99.60 that was called out, right? 98.60 that was called out on the daily and on Max's signals for a buy. And I knew in order for it to get filled, which normally it would, and this was successful 100% of the time on the buy, that it would have to get close to fill it. And because it was going to get close to fill it, even though that it was all the way up here, right? And that 98.60 is all the way down here, what happened? So it came down here and started to make this premium really, really good. And then I sold. So I got this for 44 bucks there. Then it did something else. It pierced it. Now, do I regret not keeping it? No. I have a reason why we're doing this. And even if it does this, this is just pudding. This is just extra. That's why I took another one at the 98.60 for 94.50. You see, I spent $5.50 for a possibility of profit. Could do that all day long. I could buy 10 contracts for $50 and still be $30 cheaper than the 80-20. You with me? I hope so, because this is going to get crazy. Now, as it approached and popped through this 98.80, what happened? Came down enough that 98.60 was bought up on the WO on the working order, and the premium for this 98.60 dropped to like 60 something bucks. Then it kind of came back up and it started floating around. And I didn't crap out. I didn't sell out there. Now for me, broke even, took it on my one personal account, but on the other account, I let it keep going. And as it got closer to expiry, it was like 28 bucks and it was crazy. I had like $70 worth of profit on it per contract. Do you understand me? Then I got out. So I broke even on one and I ended up making a whole bunch of money on the other. Now, also, by the way, the 9860 did finish out. Okay, kind of played down here and then it went minute and then stayed there. And then I told everybody, listen, if you don't feel comfortable with it hovering here, get out. If you don't feel comfortable with the chance that it could lose for you, take a loss and get out. Take a small loss, take a half a loss, do whatever and get out. Some of you did, and that's okay. You can't kick yourself for that. You make a decision on the way you feel. Some of you that stuck it in, I stuck it in because I had a good feeling, because I even said to people, if you're going to get out, get out. But the pair itself, USDCHF, has never lost from this position, ever. So if it loses today, take in comfort that it's a natural loss and it's a 99.8% now instead of 100%. Understand? Some of you came in. Now, I recorded the last 30 seconds of this, or last minute of this with my brother on the phone, but I said a whole bunch of inappropriate words. And I know we're all adults, but I don't want this to go out into the world that way. All right? But literally, the last 50 seconds of that trade was it going 98, 59, 98, 58, 57, 56, 58, 59, 61, 61, 61, and then it closed at 61.1. On our corporate account, we had 5 contracts, okay, at 80-20 rule, so about 22 bucks profit. So of course we would have lost $300 and something to make our 100 and something. Now, I only traded my personal account with some of this stuff this morning. If I would have traded our regular account, I would have been buying 10, 20 contracts at a time. I would have made $1,180 by the time everything was said and done this morning using the same thing I used with the USDCHF this morning. And what would I have risked? About 150 bucks. Yeah. That's why this is the most exciting webinar in the history of DEX signals for me. Why? Because the wonderful part about consistency plus volume equals goal, folks, is that I can hunt this all day long if I need to be. For senior level trader 2s, I'll show you how to do it. I'm not fucking around here. Excuse my language, but I'm not. I'm not about to safeguard every little tiny bit secret with this either, because the people that I make senior level 2, I trust with the company. I trust, you have to sign an NDA, of course. No. Says I still trust you, but doesn't mean my partners have to trust you. Okay. So, and they'll help call these. That's all we're going to be doing. We're going to be sitting in a room calling these things for as many times as we possibly can. We're going to speculate. We're going to insinuate. We're going to call out information. And sometimes I'm going to say, okay, here you go. Put this on. You're going to set it and you're not going to forget it. You're going to wait for commentary. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. So in order for this to work, there has to be movement. So some of these trades are not going to be happening in ranged moments. But during those ranged moments, there might be ITM trades. Right? There might be ATM trades. Right? Good. So we're going to be classifying these as ITM, OTM, and ATM. From this point on, you will know what the availability of your profit is at that point, roughly, right? ITM, $20, ATM, $40, OTM, $80. You learn that process, learn how to read it, and you got it made. There might even be counter trades, right? And what does a counter trade look like? A counter trade looks like this. I call out a number up here, okay? Maybe it's the price is going up here, and I call out a number because I feel it's going to come back down and bounce, right? And as I feel that, as it starts to move down, okay, I think it's going to bounce off another line here, so it's gotten close and we've gotten the premium. I'm going to call this number out up here for B, a buy. Now, it doesn't mean that this is going to close above it. It means what is it going to do? It's going to bounce off this SR and kind of come about halfway up between again, making the premium happen here. You see what I'm doing? Good. As the idea kind of settles into you, this is what takes the time to understand. Now, when does this happen? Not as frequently as I would like. And even if I put out 10 trades and I only win 50% of the time, how much money did I win? Can anybody calculate that up? I won 5 times. I'm winning about $4 per each time, right? It's $200. I lose 5 times. I'm losing $100. What did I win? $100. This is me guessing. 50%? Hell yeah, 50%. Have you ever seen me do 50% before? No. Okay. The cool part is that rule that I just showed you right there, that little process that I showed you of 50% and 20, 2 to 1 and all that stuff, right? That's the minimum. Because sometimes I'm going to give you ATMs that are like $94 or $90 or $92. So these numbers will change a lot. See, most people are afraid of that because they're afraid of the loss. You're afraid of it not really going. But once you begin to see the pattern, not just in Nadex, but in trading alone, trading OTM on something like this on an expiry level company like this process. That's right, all results will vary. Okay? So take solace to know that we'll have all three, ITM, ATMs, and OTMs, but we're really going to focus on this process because this is the best ratio for everybody. So when you see an ATM with a WO next to it, right? That's a working order ITM. Has a great opportunity for it to swing back. You might also see on the same pair something that comes over and says OTM, which means take that trade at that number, at the best number it is at that moment. If you see something that comes over and says ATM, it means that it's a little bit higher risk trade and you got to look at it, you got to pay attention to it, and you'll scalp it. For you people that are at work doing it on your phone, don't even touch an ATM. You should be work order, ITMs, and maybe OTMs if you have the time to kind of watch the commentary. You have to watch the commentary. I can't put too many trades on at once, okay? So a lot of this stuff that we're going to try to do where we're going to be sending out, you're probably only going to get 2 or 3 that it's going to happen. You're not going to get reversal trades and other things that we're going to put on our multiples. Those will be left for the room, inside the room, in the Max Signals room. Okay? Because I can't do a tremendous amount of commentary on 4 or 5 pairs. You're going to get confused and overwhelmed. All right? But if I can get you at least 1 to 2 OTMs a day that are trading decently, you're going to do very well. Because remember, this is one contract. If I do 5 contracts on this, how much do I win? $200. How much did I risk? You see where I'm going? $100. So I'm risking less doing an OTM with that kind of rate than anything else. All right, let's move on. We talked about what it would look like with the OTM and the signal page. All right. There might be, I'm going to be doing a little training module on how to do a take profit. Okay. So if you buy in to a contract, and here's what the take profit should look like for you. Okay. And it'll be in the commentary, the process. So if I purchase this, okay, I'm not going to say buy and sell it because it's too indicative to the process itself. But when I purchase this, and let's say I purchase a sell, and I'm purchasing a sell for $88, right? This is a sell. Terrible. Swear to God, I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one that I can do a pen with, right? So, can I do that with my finger? Oh my God, look at this. I can do that with my finger. Oh my God. I have a touch screen, so I guess I'm special now. I need to do it with the screen. So if I do this for $88, I like that. There you go. Screw you! Let me see here. I have a stylus pen, which doesn't seem to work well on my screen. Okay. My finger works better. Let's do it again. $88, right? There it is. Ah, much better. Look at that. Love it. Okay. So I buy it for 88 bucks. But I don't want to sit on the computer all day. And I know on the average, I'm going to get about 50% of that. But really, what do I want my R value to be? Right? I'm spending 12 to get to it. So I'm spending 12. Holy God, I wish I'd learned how to do this earlier. Okay, so there that is. I'm spending 12. So I want to make 24 bucks, right? Because I want a 2-to-1 R value. So because I did this on a sell, I now have to, when that little box pops up, right? I now have to put this at, because you're always selling more than you're buying, okay? So I have to do what? I have a calculator first off. So 88 minus 24. I mean, you could do this in your head, but you know. So I have to put the working order on for $64. Right? So when I put that on, if that price now goes and comes back down, and here's your thing, once it hits $64 and you got your $24 profit margin, what's it going to do? It's going to take it out. Now, if you get greedy and you're trying to like go 50%, you kind of need to know that, right? So it has to travel to what? $44. Right? But if it kind of goes up and it does this thing, and here's where the call is, and maybe it comes down to it, but it doesn't get to your $44, maybe it gets to 49 or 50, it's not going to fill. So you still have to pay attention, and you could still lose. So you could end up losing if you just paid attention to it, right? I'm going to call it out when it gets approaching the 50. I might even call it out when it gets percent to a 25%. So 50%, 25%, 50%, and then you're on there, because I'm not going to call anything past 50%. I'm taking it 50. Whether I feel it's going to win supernova or not, I'm taking 50, because you never know what's going to happen in this market. I'm going to take now. I'm going to take my money. X marks the spot. Give me my money. This is the best webinar ever because I figured this out. No longer third grade. I'm in elementary now. I'm in middle school now writing. Right? No, it's not. It's not on Twitter as much as the room. In the room, you get commentary on the ones that have been pushed out to Twitter. But yes, it's the Twitter ones that go out on the trades that go out on Twitter, Thor. get just is the same commentary you get on Twitter, you get into thing, but it's redundant. If you're in the room, you're also on your Twitter. You got your phone, right? So you're watching the stuff there too. So the commentary on Twitter is for the Twitter trades. The commentary in the room is courtesy for the people in the room and for the trades that I just put in the room, like the working order and the demo this morning. Okay? All about in the room. So we know, and I had a customer yesterday that we had a little bit of an issue with this, and I wanted to let you guys know that this is strictly about the words, right? So on the Twitter commentary, you got to be kind of careful and watch the information, but it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to do exactly what I'm saying or implying. I'm giving to some of those that are scalpers the information, to some of those that are take profit people, some of those that are to expiry. Whatever you are, you have to follow the words, right? If I say to you, scalp if you wish, it doesn't mean scalp. It means that if you are a scalper, that take your scalp. But if you're not, it means that I'm not too worried about finishing to expiry. If I say scalp out now, that's more directive, right? That means get the hell out. Whether it's a win or a loss, and you better understand that I'm doing it for your best. If I hesitate anymore and worry about whether or not you're going to hate me for winning or loss, you're always going to lose. You understand? When I call profit margins, I'm calling it 50%. This means to apply that if you apply this 50% scalp out, it's what you wish. Okay? Anything over 50%, usually 55, 60, or even up to 70, it won't do more than 70 because it has to expire at that point. The market makers want to keep it at 70 because they need to make their money. Okay? At this time, I'm going to call the webinar finished for those that are watching this after the fact. If you're watching this after the fact, happy Friday. I mean, this is only going to Friday. I can't afford to put this out and have 50 people, 500 people in there past Friday for the percentages that we're putting out for this month, because I have to bring on other people and train other people and pay other people. I need to bring on people like Mike L and Paul and be able to afford to pay them to be able to do the trades, because they have to put their time in besides the training. They're taking the risk and the time away from their families and everything else to do so. And it's not just going to be Mike L. On Friday, I'm going to be announcing 4 brand new senior traders that are going into that March to Senior Trader 2, which I'll be training into the process of how to do these trades, how to do ITM, OTMs, and ATMs, and provide them to you in a very safe margin. Okay? And it's grueling. It is. Trust me. They have to learn. They want to be a part of the company. They're doing excellent, but it's another step. So go Max Live. Put that into you. If you're free, you're brand new, whatever, you don't know. For those that paid more for the system, I'm sorry. I can't go back and make it retroactive for you. It's 50% off for anybody who's starting out. If you're free right now, you're watching this after the fact, it's 50% off. Put in Go Max Live into the coupon. It's only going to be active to Friday. For those of you that are watching after the fact, thank you so much for your time. And I really do hope to see you inside. This webinar was supposed to be something completely different today. I wasn't even supposed to. I was going to be talking about Nadex and all this other stuff. I'll try to talk about that on Friday. Okay? Or I'll try to put something out about what I was going to talk about, but I think that this is so much more positive and probably one of the best exciting webinars that I've done in a while, that what's about to come for all of you should push you to a point that your success is only right around the corner. For everybody else that's in the chat room, hang out and we'll get some questions and answers and some ahas done. Everybody else, thanks you very much and hope you trade well.